It's time to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world. And to fill in for the great Malabite, Emmanuel Efeni, who is currently on vacation, is his favorite anchor, Tundu Victoria MKO Aviola. Emmanuel Efeni.
Pseudo Malabres.
Yes.
Honorary.
I'm actually, thank you for allowing me to pretend to be a Malabres for the morning. Thank you very much for not protesting.
Morning.
So we shall start with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. This really has taught me well, okay? So, no controversy on who becomes next Olubdan, say Ibadan High Chiefs. Declared new king will be chosen based on tradition, or your ex-Attorney General advises Makinde against appointment of new Oba Jonathan Sanwo-Olu Anyim, mourn late monarch. We just had this conversation about that. And then also on this day's front cover, Buhari, Tofa, true and irreplaceable nationalist. Ex-presidential candidates buried in between parents' graves. Atiku, Ganduje, Buni, mourn. And above the masthead, federal government commences collection of income tax on bonds, short-term securities from today. Stockbrokers express divergent view over new policy. Oil prices bullish as 2022 market outlook remains positive. And obviously we have here Buhari Tinubu felicitates with Bolaji Akinyemi at 80. You said a happy birthday to him earlier, and you know everybody on the morning show, everybody from Arise News, we wish Professor Bolaji Akinyemi a very happy 80th birthday. And now to the leadership newspaper. Pressure mounts on APC leaders to shift national convention. Postpone convention, ruin your legacy. PGF GG tells Buni, says APC playing into PDP's hands. Selfish personal interests must not override party interests. Obiagwon. And then again, Bashir Tofa, June 12th actor and quintessential politician, bows out at 75. PMB, governors, Northern elders mourn. Now to the Daily Independent. Southern governors divided on zoning 2023 presidency. That's the headline there. And you also have the same story about the passing of Bashir Tofa, Buhari, Atiku, Ganduje, Anyim, mourn, former presidential candidate Tofa, one shot dead as police fought attempt to burn Imo Monarch's palace. Above the masthead, APC 2023, APC working on a lie that will return PDP to power. PGF-GG says postponing APC's convention beyond February to spell doom. New findings may stop installation of Lekan Balogun as Olubdan, as former Commissioner writes Governor Makinde. Now to the Punch. New Year celebrations. Experts project high infection rate as Nigerians shun protocols at fun spots. Uncontrolled crowds at beaches, others to fuel community transmission, expert warns. Recovery rate drops by 73.2%. NCDC distributes 400,000 COVID-19 testing kits. Again, the Tofa story, Buhari, others mourn Tofa as MKO Abiola's presidential poll opponent dies at 74. Why Jonathan must support Igbo presidency in 2023, Ohaneze. Customs, immigration, 13 others failed to remit 127 billion naira audit report. The Auditor General is really going gangbusters at the moment, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Nigeria's debt vulnerable, costly, alerts World Bank. Sustained bombings force terrorists to surrender, ACF tells military. Oh, and then the story we discussed earlier with Reuters, Lagos train service will begin this year, Sanwo-Olu. Now to The Guardian. Legal hurdle clouds Olubdan succession. Lekan Balogun not qualified to be Olubdan. Ex-Oyo Attorney General writes. Ladoja absent as Ibadan chiefs hold meeting at Balogun's house. Elevation of high chiefs to Obas doesn't alter Ibadan succession process, says Olubdan in council. And we also have here, IPOP bans Nigerian anthem in Southeast schools' use of cows at ceremonies. Tension in Imo as Uzodinma uncovers alleged sponsors of insecurity. Tributes pour in as Tofa dies at 74. Labour unions strategize ahead of proposed fuel subsidy removal. And now to the Daily Trust. Judiciary cases, personalities to look out for this year. Crisis rocks Kebbi, APC as factional leadership emerges. Price of crude oil hits $78.34 ahead of OPEC meeting. The main story here is Bashir Tofa, 1947 to 2022. Writer, politician, activist laid to rest in Kano. Buhari governors, ACF, NAF, others pay tributes. Why Zamfara bandits kingpin Turji released 52 captives? PDP, APC bicker over El Rufai's achievements. Controversy trails selection of new Olubdan. Husband hires friend for 10,000 naira to kill pregnant wife in Ogun. Good heavens. Now to The Guardian. The Vanguard, thank you. 2023, APC, PDP echelons abuzz over Jonathan's moves. Do you have anything you'd like to share? I will be asking you. Why speculations of Jonathan joining APC won't end soon? Former president not contemplating joining ruling party, PDP. Jonathan didn't hold any consultative meeting over 2023 aid. Don't leave PDP, PGF DG warns Jonathan. And again, the Bashir Tofa story, Buhari, Ganduje, Shekara, ACF, others mourn as ex-NRC presidential candidate Tofa dies at 74. Again, no sit-at-home in Southeast. Human and vehicular movement unhindered. Flight operations maintained as police gunned down one suspected ESN member, many injured. Budget 2022, Buhari or Shibajo to spend 3.087 billion, I imagine that is, naira on travels. Mass road projects deadline. Sanwo-Olu issues marching order to contractor. It's hypocritical for Buhari to sign padded 2022 budget and reject electoral bill, Wike. And above the masthead, widespread cash supply shortage persists in banks. Cash shortage worse than COVID-19, Babalola. We don't have cash in the last few days, banker. Banks managing their deposits, analysts. CBN should introduce CRR debits on banks, analysts. Apprehension as legal fireworks may stall installation of new Olubdan over pending case. Banks' credit to private sector rises 33% to 35 trillion naira. And that's all on the news headlines.
Well, the first comment to make is a message that came in from Emmanuel Efene, who says that he's listening and watching with rapt attention. And the adopted Malabres, Victoria Tondo M. Avela, is doing well.
Oh, bless him. High praise indeed. Coming from you, Mr. Efene. We miss you. Thank you.
But one story, you know, some of the stories that you brought, it's about the Inter-Party Advisory Council saying that Nigeria is not yet ripe for direct primaries. The Inter-Party Advisory Council says it disagrees with the president on the issue of insecurity as an excuse for rejecting the adoption of direct primaries. But that beyond that, the point raised about the independence of the political parties is important. And that too, it is important that the National Assembly and the executive, you know, arrive at some kind of compromise. And in any case, you know, the Inter-Party Advisory Council made a point that, look, even if the National Assembly insists on having its way, it's the executive that will still provide funding for the processes. And what if the executive arm decides, you know, not to fund whatever processes in terms of the outcome? And that in any case, one of the major issues in this Electoral Act amendment bill is the issue of electronic transmission of results. And it's important that we hold on to that. So the Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria therefore advises, you know, the National Assembly when it reconvenes in January to just do away with the controversial clause and accept, you know, what the president has recommended and not go ahead again to say to veto the president. But what I see is that there seems to be some kind of consensus that is building up, even if that consensus may be contrived, because you see that the moment the National Assembly went on recess, you find El Rufai coming forward and saying, look, direct primaries, Buhari is even the major exponent of direct primaries. And for him to say it will not work, there are certain things you will see. The same view was echoed by the chairman of the Governors Forum, Kayode Fayemi, of Ekiti State. So I suspect, on the basis of that what we're likely to see, beyond all of this in the public domain, may also be some other forces that are not reported in the media, and that the National Assembly may just return and then toe the same line recommended by the executive arm of government. But even at that, I think that it will still be a major progress in terms of what everyone has been asking for, that Electoral Act needs to be reviewed. Maybe subsequently, other issues can be dealt with. And then, of course, back to Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. Well, you have congratulated him. All of us have done so. But I hope that Professor Akinyemi is watching.
Yes.
And that I hope he understands that, there are implications.
Yes.
Yes, there are implications.
Yes.
Any birthday at all has to be celebrated.
Yes.
I've been checking my schedule for the day, and, you can be sure, that Professor Akinyemi is up to the task.
Very good.
And, there will be jollof rice and pepper soup.
RSVP.
And we should not allow that to waste, because, as I said, he's a man who deserves to be celebrated.
Yes.
It's a source of inspiration for generations, either in civil society or in academia. And he has remained very active, even at 80.
Yes.
And, that should be a lesson for many young men who are very idle, who get lazy very easily, to see that generation. And there are quite a number there. Professor Wole Soyinka is still productive. President Olusegun Obasanjo is still productive. Professor Anya, Professor Akinjide Osuntokun, Prince Adelusi Adeluyi. These are people in their 80s.
Yes.
And they are still productive, they are still working. So when I see young men who are complaining, I'm tired, this and that, I wonder, where did this generation of lazy bones come from? Because our fathers that we look up to, they are still working very hard, And, we pray for Professor Akinyemi. May he remain active upstairs and downstairs at all times.
You see, there's something called, I think those our fathers have something called...
Why are you looking at me like that?
I think they have something called an Ajideweic foresight. Ajidewe. And they are, even in the old age, they are still active as the youth. And they are doing very well. Professor Bolaji Akinyemi is somebody we have the greatest sense of admiration for here. He's a faculty, right here on the Rise News channel. And he has, shown that great sense of understanding as regards issues. And people like that, I'm always glad to see them still do well late in their 80s. Because he has something that is lacking in Nigeria today, which is institutional memory. It is lacking in our public space and our public conversations. And he has a lot of that. And he's always willing to share, be it on his podcast, on various channels. He releases a YouTube podcast every time, every week on, topical political diplomacy issues. I'm very apt. The consistency at which he does that is really thrilling. And we can only wish him the best, the very best. And like Dr. Abati said, I just want to echo Dr. Abati's views. Is there RSVP? Is there rice and soup? Very plenty. And is there a lot of jollification and sodiwuke?
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, Prof, we're very happy. Congratulations once again.
I just want to say, he has such a brilliant mind. I'm always really excited when I see that he's going to be a guest on this show. I always look forward to what he has to share with us. And he has just had a stellar career, hasn't he? Really, a truly impressive Nigerian.
PhD at 27.
Yes.
Professorship
Brilliant,
at 41. Director General, Nigerian Institute of International Affairs at 33. Minister of the Federal Republic at 43. And for close to 50 years, he has remained a prodigious intellect.
And Dr. Abati, maybe this is also a clarion call to a lot of people out there that are sitting tight on a seat that don't want to give young people a chance, that they should please give young people a chance. He could hold those positions at a younger age because he was given a chance. I understand the likes of Richard Akijide too became a federal minister in his 20s.
Yeah, but you have to qualify it. You are talking about exceptional persons.
There are a lot of people that qualify, Dr. Abati, but some people don't want to stand up there. They just see that they don't want to give them a chance. So maybe we could incorporate a lot of young people too that Professor Bolaji Akinyemi has mentored, to be able to help them grow too in life.
Deserving young people.
Deserving
young people who think they have
not
a sense of entitlement.
Yes, so not weak bones.
So that's why I say these are exceptional people.
Yes.
They don't make them like that quite frequently.
It's a lot of hard work, yes.